The caller went on to state that there was a child that was still in the vehicle, at the time that it was stolen, and the suspects had left the scene with the vehicle and that child still in it. So obviously officers got this call and made their way to the area very, very quickly, and was within a few moments they were able to locate the child who had been put out of the car by the suspects on Lucan Drive, just a few streets over from where it was taken. The officers continued to search the area, were able to locate the vehicle on Teresa Avenue, which is one street north of where the child was dropped off. There was a short foot pursuit that ensued. The suspects fled eastbound towards the railroad tracks, which is at the end of Teresa Avenue. They crossed the railroad tracks over into the 3600 block of 7th Street Road, where they were taken into custody. Fortunately, like I said, officers were able to get on this very quickly. They did a fantastic job of getting a perimeter set up, and they were able to take the suspects into custody without incident. The child obviously is doing fine, not harmed physically in any way, and was able to even talk to us and give us a statement, which is fantastic. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of it, and I'll be happy to take any questions that anyone has.
What did the child say? Was it girl or boy?
It was a little boy. It was his grandmother's car. She was babysitting the child for the day, had stopped at the store briefly to run in and get a newspaper, I believe. His statement was something along the line of he was driving Grammy's car, and the child even asked him, "What are you doing?" Which, fortunately, this obviously, a stolen car is bad enough, but when there's a child in the car, it adds another layer to it, and we're just very fortunate that we're able to report today that that child is doing well and was unharmed.
3-year-old boy?
3-year-old boy, yes.
Okay.
Suspect information? Do you have names or?
We have an adult who is 18 years old who is in custody, and I will give you the name and date of birth afterwards so that you can pull the necessary files. He is being charged with complicity to theft by unlawful taking of an automobile, fleeing and evading police on foot, and complicity to wanton endangerment. The wanton endangerment charge stems from the child being in the car and the erratic driving after the theft. The other suspect is a 17-year-old who is being charged with 2 counts of theft by unlawful taking of an automobile. The reason for the second count is once back at the station, he was cooperative during an interview and was able to actually help us to solve another stolen car case that he had been involved with earlier this month. And he is also being in charge with the wanton endangerment for the child being in the car during the...
Does the grandmother, will she be cited for anything, for leaving their child in the car?
Well, that's a very good question. Obviously, leaving a vehicle unattended while running is a violation of the law in Kentucky. And so we strongly urge people not to do that at all. That is a violation, and that's something that we as police officers would actually have to witness to charge with that, so that takes that one out of play. You could go on and you could look at endangering the welfare of a minor, but in this case, this grandmother has been through a lot. She was physically and mentally and emotionally distraught over this whole incident, and I don't know that necessarily adding charges at this point would be the best route to go. However, we will look into the circumstances and we'll have a conversation with the county attorney's office to see what they recommend.
When the child was dropped off, did he have a car seat? Or did you just put him outside and that was it?
The child was in a car seat at the time of the theft of the vehicle. They apparently stopped on Lucan Drive and removed the child from the car and placed him in the grassy area next to the road. Fortunately, there was a witness there who saw this happen and was able to stand by with the child until police were on scene.
This was Lucan, where the child was dropped off?
The child was dropped off on Lucan, Luken Drive. And then the vehicle was one street north on Teresa Avenue.
How long do you think all this lasted?
From the time of the call till we located the child, I would estimate probably about 3 to 4 minutes. We were on it pretty quick. There was some period of time thereafter before we were able to get, we had the suspects narrowed down to an area. Like I said, the responding officers did a fantastic job of getting a perimeter set up, and it was basically at that point just kind of moving in on them. One suspect was taken into custody, the adult, relatively early on. I believe it was the adult that was taken into custody first. I could have that backwards. And then the other was located hiding in a dumpster at the rear of one of the businesses in that 100 block of 7th Street.
Do you expect any further charges?
It is entirely possible that we may have other charges that are related to other vehicle thefts from other incidents, but this should be the sum of the charges for today's incident.
And this is just a question not being in law enforcement. Thinking of the story, I would just automatically assume kidnapping.
Well-
What makes that not the case?
That is a good question. The kidnapping would you'd almost have to have an intent. You would have to have knowledge that the child was there, and that would be part of your intent of the crime. And since it's not likely that that was there in this case, that's why the charges aren't there. They simply, like I said, it was a crime of opportunity. They saw a running car, jumped into it, took off, and it's my guess that once they realized the child was in the car, that's when they stopped and let the child
All signs
out.
lead to focusing on the car and then, oh my gosh.
Correct.
Okay.
So was Grandma in the store when they took off in the car?
Yes, apparently that's a place that the grandmother frequents. I wouldn't say daily, but at least several times a week to stop and get a newspaper. It's the type of store where the parking is directly outside of the front doors of the store, so we're not talking at the back of the lot like you would think in a larger like superstore. This is something that she was parked right by the doors, went in to get a newspaper, probably wasn't gone 30 seconds. But unfortunately, that's all it takes, and that's why we remind people, lock your vehicles, turn off your car, take the kids in with you. We've all heard these stories way too many times. It's fortunate in this case the child is unharmed.
So just to clarify, the car was running with the keys inside and it was unlocked.
Yes.
Was there someone from the store that followed the suspects?
There was a person from a local beer distributor that was on scene that I think saw what went down and attempted to keep an eye, I guess for lack of a better term, keep an eye on the suspects in the direction they were going. I don't want to say that he intervened by any means, but certainly aided in our quick response to getting to where the suspects were located.
What kind of car was it that they saw?
That's a real good question. Do you know offhand? A Kia sedan.
What else did we not ask? I mean, it seems like no such thing as a perfect crime, but the eyes being around, them dropping the toddler off. If you have a situation like this, it played out to where everyone's safe.
Right. It did play out, which leads us back to the original question on the kidnapping. It shows that these guys had no intent to run off with a child. The fact that they put him out of the car may not have been the best place to put him out, may not have been the best thing to do, but in the circumstances, at least they did put the child out. He's fine, and that's the good thing. But this certainly could be a whole lot more troubling story that we're talking about.
Do you know where the suspects are from? Are they from Shively?
They're both from the Louisville area. Can't say for sure Shively, but definitely the Louisville area.
Do you guys think they got there on foot, or were they dropped off maybe by somebody?
We believe that they approached the vehicles on foot. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, folks.